The thing about kids that's really refreshing is kids don't default to race when they get the question, who are you? What are you? The year 2000 was the first time that the US Census allowed people to check more than one box to define themselves in terms of race. We've had this whole history of ignoring multiracial identity in this country, and multiracial identity has been part of this country since the beginning. So what I did is I photographed kids all over the country, 12 and under. I wanted to photograph not the Christmas or Hanukkah card, not the Halloween costume pose, not the school photo. I wanted to photograph the kids as them. If you are in love with music, then bring your guitar, or your tambourine, or your piano. If you love playing soccer, then bring your soccer ball, but just be you. If you're in a bad mood, be in a bad mood. If you are crazy, be crazy, not as someone else is telling them to be or what they're expected to be. If you're gonna be a spaz, be a spaz.
Okay, all right.
And as an artist, that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to get that relationship where they, for a second it clicks, where they're really there and you capture them as they are. Now some kids come in and they're great. They're instantly, it's like, come in, you ready? And the kid's like, done. It just, you get it. So what I wanted to do is have the kids just respond in their own handwriting without any kind of guidance from me, just, here, who are you? You can draw a picture, you can tell who you are, and I had the parents write their own statements too, and that was really fun.
I was trying to find a place that felt like home, and it was really, home is where you feel like you're accepted.
It all started in 1967 in a case called Loving versus Virginia, where the Supreme Court ended all race-based marriage restrictions in the US. So that's 1967. How is it that it took over 30 years for a university, Bob Jones University, to finally allow interracial dating on campus?
What happens if I go like this? Pa!
Oh, you're hitting up, and the horse is straight, and the horse is down.
Okay, and who are you hitting then? Someone else on a horse?
It was the year 2000 that the first census allowed people to check more than one box. The first time they allowed people to check more than one box to define who they were, to accurately say if you had parents or grandparents of different races, you could actually acknowledge them on the census. I think the thing that really surprises people is when I tell them that I was born in a time where my parents couldn't legally be married in many states. And people say, what? And I'm like, yeah, I'm 44 years old. I was born in 1965. When I was born, it was illegal for my parents to be married in many states.
That's what you look like, Christian. And that's why I'm not excited about photographing you yet.
As a kid, whenever I got that check one box, what that box really said to me was, pick mom or dad.
Oh, that is so...
It's hard ground, huh?
Yeah.
If you look at race and you believe in race, and you allow it to make people be seen as different, when in reality, we're all African. There's no scientific basis to race. But if you use race and you make people be seen as different, it allows you to do things. It allows you to allow them to enter or not enter the country. It allows you to determine who gets married or who doesn't get married, as long as you see people as different.
Back off, Andy. I don't love you anymore.
What I wanted to do with this project was give them a space to let them say who they were and to be acknowledged. In October 2009, there was a justice of the peace in Louisiana who wouldn't perform a marriage for a couple because they were interracial. It's a black man and a white woman, and he said, no, I'm not gonna do that. And to their credit, they went to the media. And his reasoning was, well, what would happen to the children? And I'm like, what would happen to the children? They might become president.
Your sister. Is she a nice big sister? What does she do? Does she take care of you?
Not just being multiracial myself, but having a multiracial child, I want him to grow up in a world where he doesn't have to define himself or fit into categories which are set by other people for him. And if my work as an artist can have an effect in that, if it can play one small part in giving him a space or a venue to be who he wants to be without the burdens of other people's categories and definitions on him, I think that's a good thing.
That's even better. Perfect.